Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a totally counterintuitive approach to personal development. We're constantly fed this idea that to achieve big things, we need massive action, ironclad discipline, and just relentless motivation. But what if the exact opposite is true? What if the secret to actually achieving more is, well, trying to achieve ridiculously less? We're going to explore some incredibly fascinating insights from Thomas Alethea's 12 Steps to a Good Life. We'll look at why our brains constantly fight us, how we can actually sneak past our own mental defenses, and, this is absolutely crucial, the hidden trap waiting for us right when we start succeeding.
Because look, we've all been there, right? You set a goal, you're practically bursting with enthusiasm, and you draw up this bulletproof plan. But then, life happens. Think about the classic New Year's resolution cycle. You start out super strong in January, but by mid-February, all that intense motivation has completely evaporated. You skip one day, then maybe two, and suddenly you're literally right back where you started. It really leaves us asking, why do we always abandon our goals, even when we have the absolute best intentions? Why does our willpower just vanish?
Well, a huge part of the answer lies in this tricky psychological trap called the abstinence violation effect, or AVE for short. This happens when you're trying to build a new habit or maybe break a bad one, and you have a minor slip-up. Say you're trying to cut back on sweets, but you give in and have just one single slice of cake. AVE is that little voice in your head that instantly goes, well, I already messed up, so I might as well eat the entire cake. It's this extreme all-or-nothing mentality. But here's what the source material really wants us to remember. A tiny lapse in your behavior, it doesn't mean you're a bad person, it doesn't mean you lack character, you're simply falling victim to a very normal, very human psychological trap.
Now, the source material uses a pretty brilliant metaphor to explain this whole dynamic. Picture your unconscious mind as an 800-pound gorilla. Just imagine you're sitting on its shoulders, trying to convince it to go left when it really wants to go right. Guess what? The gorilla is going exactly where it wants to go. You can write down goals all day long, but ultimately your unconscious mind has total veto power.
So let's look at why our brains actively self-sabotage like this. On one side, we've got our conscious intentions. This is the rational you, the part that plans for the future, wants to be healthy, productive, and happy. But remember, it's just riding on the shoulders of the unconscious mind. And that 800-pound gorilla, it is built purely for survival. It loves energy efficiency, it seeks absolute comfort, and it absolutely hates change. If it figures out that chocolate makes you feel calm, the gorilla's like, yes, please, give me 5 of those. Changing habits requires an immense amount of energy to build new neural pathways. So naturally, the gorilla resists. If you try to force change purely through sheer willpower, trust me, the gorilla's going to win eventually.
Which brings us to the mini-habit solution, bypassing the unconscious gorilla.
So since we know we literally cannot overpower an 800-pound gorilla, we have to trick it. And the secret to slipping past your brain's massive defenses lies in the sheer absurdity and power of the number one. One push-up, one wash dish, one single stretch. You see, our survival instincts have this highly tuned radar continuously scanning for things that feel too hard. But when you tell yourself, hey, I'm only going to do exactly one push-up, it flies completely under the radar. The gorilla doesn't fight back because the effort is so incredibly small. It doesn't trigger any fear or procrastination or resistance whatsoever.
This whole concept builds into a beautifully simple 3-step process. Step 1. Choose a goal that actually aligns with your true values. Step 2. And this is the fun part. Convert that goal into a stupidly small action. And I mean ridiculously small. The action needs to take 30 seconds or less to complete. Then, step 3, just choose a cue to trigger the habit. Something like attaching it to an activity you already do every single day without fail.
Here are some fantastic examples directly from the source material. Instead of drawing up some daunting, massive workout plan, just commit to doing exactly one stretch when you wake up, or maybe one push-up during the day. Instead of overhauling your entire diet overnight, eat one carrot. Instead of deep cleaning the whole kitchen, wash one single dish. These absurdly easy tasks successfully bypass that huge, this is too hard mental block. And here's the real magic. Even though it is literally just one push-up, taking that action actually creates and reinforces real neural pathways in your brain. Action inspires effort. Once you start, you're mentally free to do more. And honestly, you almost always will.
But we have to talk about the hidden trap. Beware of goal creep.
Because right when you start stringing together a few days of success, your own brain secretly lays a trap for you. It's a phenomenon called goal creep. This is the hidden villain that ruins even the absolute best mini-habits.
Goal creep happens when you naturally exceed your minimum habit for a few days, which is great, but then your brain unconsciously begins to expect that higher level of performance permanently. And that completely defeats the entire purpose of having that stupidly small baseline in the first place.
Here's exactly how this danger plays out in real life. Your plan is that doing exactly 1 push-up a day is a 100% total success. But then, goal creep sneaks in. Let's say you felt great yesterday. You got down on the floor and you knocked out 20 push-ups. Awesome, right? But then today rolls around and you're tired. You just want to do your required 1 push-up. Well, because of goal creep, doing just that 1 today suddenly feels like a failure compared to yesterday's 20. Your brain artificially inflates your baseline expectations. And the very second that 1 push-up feels like a failure, that 800-pound gorilla wakes right back up, the resistance returns, and boom, you abandon the habit entirely.
So how do we actively outsmart goal creep? Well, you have to aggressively protect your minimums. First, minimize your expectations and strictly stick to that incredibly low bar. Second, and this is absolutely vital, reframe any extra effort as just a free bonus. If you do 10 push-ups, tell yourself that's 1 required push-up plus 9 bonus push-ups. Third, the text actually suggests deliberately dialing back to the minimum occasionally. Just do your 1 push-up and walk away, period. This is purely to remind your brain that the minimum is absolutely enough. And finally, never, ever feel guilty for doing exactly the minimum.
If there is one core philosophy to take away from this entire explainer, it's this. Consistency matters infinitely more than quantity. The size of your effort on any given day honestly doesn't matter. Keeping the habit alive is the whole shebang. By setting the bar so unbelievably low that you could literally trip over it, you guarantee consistency. You keep those new neural pathways active, and you keep the 800-pound gorilla happily sleeping while you slowly, steadily change your life.
So, I want to leave you with a challenge based on everything we've covered today. Take a hard look at the goals in your life right now. How can you shrink them down until they are practically effortless? I'm challenging you to take immediate action right now. What ridiculously small, stupidly easy thing will you do today? Go do your 1 push-up, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.